Hi, I think I brought everything that was needed. She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sight she makes. The thick dark blue silk of her pajamas really suits her, accentuating both her eyes and her curves. The look in her last night, that tentative and almost shy demeanor, seems all but replaced by her coy nature. Seems nice to see her confidence return, though I can't help casting my mind back to how she looked back then. I look at to Hanako, who never really sits on the opposite her in her gown. It isn't surprised that she wears something so conservative, though. It definitely looks cute. Hi Hanako, happy birthday. Ah, thank you. She unusually skittish despite the fact that she's warmed up to me considerably over the weeks we come to know each other. This is a pretty unusual situation, I guess. Feel free to take a seat, Hisao. I'll just pour you two some tea. What? Wait, what you say? I got it. Feel free to take a seat, Hisao. I'll just pour you two some tea. Oh, thank you. Sure thing. Lee takes a steaming red teapot from the side of the table, gently pours the content into our teacups as I take a seat beside them, setting my back against the nearby wall. With my sense returned and hormones somewhat calmer, I realize that this is the first time I've ever been in Lily's room. The first thing I noticed in the ambient smell is just slightly different from that in mine. Probably faint perfume or nail polish. It could be anything of a girl's really. Another in the plain nature of the room, visually beige walls and smart yet unadorned cabinets that lacked of posters or wall hangings. It's distinctly utilitarian, something I should have anticipated given her blindness. The only thing that really seems out of ordinary is the several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching roughly knee-high to the waist-high. Some of them have printed titles, others are entirely black except with dots of braille. The fact that the ones with printed titles are uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents expressing the language upon her and Akira after all. Your room looks nice, Lily, and plain. Sorry, Lily, it's just your room is so weird. I hear the call of thanks from beside my shoulder. Looking back to Hanako, her gaze is fixed on her lap and her hands are naively clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why. With these clothes on, the extent of her scarring is far more visible, reaching down her neck and out to cover her shoulder. Considerably, this is a party for her. She doesn't really look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. So how old are you turning, 18? Her looks of surprise that not at all helped by her total lack of skill at hiding her feelings shows that she was trying too much to me out. This is really quite awkward. Yes. On the plus side, there's only 2 more years until you drink, so who's older, you or Lily? Lily, she had her birthday in February. What about yours? Early this year, so it's already passed. I'll say that it's passed while I was stuck at the hospital. That was a particularly low point of the experience. Conversation with her dries up as quickly as I expected. It isn't long before Lily finished preparing our drinks, setting down the 3 teacups in front of us. I picked up mine, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma and taste than the tea we've been having. It tastes different than the tea we have in school. It's a different variety rather than the kind we've been having there. You never tasted orange Jaipur before? Not that I can remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice though. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to become more relaxed, and at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups at about the same time, with Hanako failing to rather badly at hiding her anticipation for a cake that's sitting on the side, begging to be eating. Come to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first though. Lily? Yes, now it's good. Each of us knowing exactly what the other means, I lean sideways to dig around my bag for the doll I bought Hanako as Slee gets up to retrieve her gift. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present them both to the table at the same time. Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits looking at them for a second, and then, out of sheer surprise, my little wooden doll, replete with Victorian dress, a little hat, lies next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lily. She clutches her gown and she moves to speak, not taking her eye off the modest presence. Thank you, Lily and Hasao. Her voice begins to crack as Lily reaches for her, wrapping her soft embrace. The slide of Hanako holding Lily's tummy so heartwarming, so much that I couldn't wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lily gently rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly that I can barely hear. Happy birthday, Hanako. Happy birthday! Hanako gives a small nod, holding onto Lily's for a time before breaking off and weeping an eye. Oh, weeping, what? Wiping an eye. I guess that for Hanako, simply having anyone to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lily and I can now share the role for her is something I think I will be always grateful for. Hanako gently takes the doll and the teddy bear, holding them both to her chest as they warmly smiles. For a long time, all three of us simply sit in happy silence. The quiet is not broken until Lily's soft voice beckons. Shall we have at the cake then? Her proposal is made with 2 looks of unhidden anticipation. No arguments from me. Okay. Phew, that was good. I contentedly sit back, both Lily and Hanako looking just as satisfied with the food as I. I took some effort, but we managed to finish off the cake in one go. Shit. I don't think I could fit any more in. I think next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that come this time next year, we'll have graduated from Yamaku. That fact is somewhat depressing since I finally feel as life is starting to get back into somewhat kind of an order. I leave looking around Lily's neat and early room, her books catching eye once again. This might be a little impetuous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind if any case. Oh, my nose itches. Hey Lily, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books? You're quite welcome to, Hasao. That said, if you can overcome 2 language barriers, I will be quite impressed. 2, Braille, oh, and write English. She gets a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed that you're this proficient at it. One could say it's a perfect way to avoid people borrowing my collection. She says it in jest, but I am a little disappointed. Having all these books around me and with no way to read them feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles quietly as I reach over the closest pile, plugging at the topmost book with only a cursory glance. Death on the Nile, in large letters on the cover, is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while with the book open on my lap as Lily and Hanako talk. Try as my might to figure out the dots Braille printed on these pages, they seem to blend into one another and becoming indistinct. I thought this would be a lot easier than it is. With some practice though, I could see someone being better at the sense of touch than mine, managing to read at a pretty fast speed. Noticing the signs that had probably begun early, I look up at the dotted pages to see Lily smiling as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity is quite endearing. I am inordinately pleased by the praise though. I can feel the cheeks heating up a little. Thanks, but I don't know how else I could act. To be honest, I wasn't altogether sure how you saw us since you were a new transfer student from another school. If you pity us, I would have been quite offended. There's a certain edge to Lily's voice, one that quite possibly plays as pride glanced over to Hanako. She seems even more subdued, or subtle, or whatever you want to call it, subdued, subtle, than usual, looking towards Lily rather than me. I wouldn't worry about that, considering the position I found myself in. I'm perhaps the last person that could be dispensing pity on others. My parents' first interaction with me after a heart attack, I wouldn't want anyone to see that. Wait, no. My parents' first interaction with me after that heart attack, I wouldn't want anyone to see that kind of face. Okay. I catch myself from going any further, but not soon enough. Both of the girls seem to be put off, Lily especially. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone that far. An awkward silence reigns for a few beats, thankfully ended as Lily has perked up in gesture I come to easily recognize. Hear something? The door. Everyone looks towards it, trusting in Lily's senses. True enough, the door handle shuts and turns, a flash of yellow and black slipping through. Hey! Akira Satawa's in the house. Happy birthday, Hanako! Ah, thank you. Akira takes a seat at the table and she plops her tall back beside her. She has her tray of boisterous air about her, making no small deal of entrance. Hanako clutches her gown to steady herself, but doesn't appear to shake it after she settles down. I guess she has most met Akira before. Not a huge surprise given how close Akira and Lily are. Akira doesn't seem to be the least bit put off by Hanako's scaring, despite its prominence, but she also doesn't pull any punches in how she acts despite Hanako's shy nature. I thought you said you had to work, Akira. Did you mind to get it off for a while? Kinda. I feel bad about ditching you guys doing over. Okay, no. I feel bad about ditching the guys doing overtime, so I gotta go get back soon. But I feel bad about not coming to your cute little Hanako's birthday too, so for now, I am here. She grins wildly at Hanako, who flowers into a full blush as she pins her downward towards her lap. Her mouth seems to whine and retract over and over as she was trying to suppress a smile of embarrassment. It's a little strange how her reactions seem more immediately and forceful than she is embarrassed by the way she looks. All she managed to give in return is a tiny nod, failing to hide her appreciation to a great extent. Not that many people give her Not that many people give her positive attention. I suppose it makes me respect how well Akira can handle her, making her so happy compared to the little I could do. Now then, before I go, she reaches into her bag beside her and grandly displays its contents. Out come two large glass bottles, both with long French names on the labels. Hanako's expression is an odd mix of surprise and curiosity, and I suspect mine's no different. Lily, not seeing the proceedings, is oblivious of what's going on. Akira, this isn't. What is it? Wine, one red, one white. Akira, that's. Relax. It's not like Shizuma is here to scold you. Lily has a point. That's not exactly allowed on campus. Or anywhere, really. We're still short on legal drinking age, remember? Wish word for someone practically drooling as they examine a bottle. She got me there. I am genuinely interested in trying some, even just a little. While Hanako may not be handling one herself, her look does tell me that she's far from opposite to notion as well. Lily rubs her forehead, giving up the fight that she knows Akira would win due to simply not caring enough about those funny rules and regulations. We're gonna get fucking wasted! Nah, I don't know if that's gonna be the case. Fuck! My nose is super itches. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Whatever. Just don't breathe a word of this to anyone in school, please, I beg you. I'm not stupid. Don't worry. That's it. I gotta get back to work pretty soon. So soon, but you only arrived. Sorry, Lee. Good to see you two again, though. And you, Hasao. See you later, then. Goodbye, Akira. She lowers herself up with a groan and waltzes out of the room, leaving us alone with two items on the table. Interesting. Lily gives me a nervous giggle at her sister antics as Hanako takes a wine bottle. So, what do you think, Lily? She rests her elbow on the table and pinches the bridge of her nose, thinking things through. She really doesn't seem to be able to keep up with her sister. Well, it's already here. We may as well have some. No sooner does she say, I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. A small girl about me reminds me that Lily's retired to rest on her bed for a bit a few minutes ago. Almost completely drained out of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself out of the side of the bed, sitting down and leaning my back against it. Good God. Ugh. Lily groans, sounds lifeless. Too much to drink? My head hurts. Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. What an unimaginable disaster. Like proper 80s, we all drank the night away with one glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side asleep. It's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lily. Hey Hisao, I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's finally, to tell you the truth, I had a lot of fun today. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did. There's a short silence before another groan resounds from the supine Lily. You okay? As you say, I just drank too much. What time is it? What's the time? The time, it's... I quickly look at my wristwatch. Its number barely legible in the gloom. About midnight. Curfew's in effect then. Yeah, I guess as much. We'll have to sleep here for tonight. We'll all have to sleep here for tonight. Oh. As soon as I said that, I hear the sheets moving as Lee starts to sit up. Hanako? No, go back to sleep. Don't try to get up. Hisao, I have to. You're worse in shape than me. By any stretch, get some rest. But what about... I'll grab some spare blankets and put them over her. Don't worry about it. As I get a deep yawn, I stand to retreat them. I hear her lie back down with a soft thud. Thank you, Hisao. No problem. It's the least I can do. You look outright wasted. I'm not wasted. Just a little bit tired. She started pouting, a slight slur beginning to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple blankets rolled up at the end of her bed. Quietly walking over to Hanako, I carefully laid the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure not to wake her up. The thick smell of alcohol coming her breath makes me doubt that she'd wake up no matter what I did, though. I sent to take one last measure of the room. The two girls, both very drunk, one guy sleeping overnight with them in the female student dorm. What a scandal that would be if it broke out. As I moved to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, this heavy figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Ah, she's cute as fuck. Her white skin blends in with the white pillow on the bed. A look of slumber born peacefully on her face. Usually she seems so confident for her always there and caring for Hanako. Now though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's presence. I thought it'd be nice occasion for her, but I hardly expected it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. She and Lily all alone. I guess it wasn't just the president she liked. Resting myself to a comfortable sleep, I sit down to the side of the bed once again to rest my tired arms beside me. Hey, Hisao. With this voice so quiet I can barely hear, she must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Oh, thank you for what? For being here. That's okay. As I hear a deep breath, it's obvious Lily's gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. Oh, night-night! Oh, what? Hisao! Hisao, are you? The soft, bearable, audible voice lingering in the ear slowly wakes me up. I wish I could be awoken like this more often. With a mumble, I slowly open my... Whoa! Ah! Taken by surprise at the face hovering curiously mere millimeters from mine, I make our heads collide with a harsh thud. The impact of our foreheads causes both of us to fall backwards and yelp in pain. Lily sounding more like a squeak toy than a person. Ow, ow, ow. I slowly rub my forehead with one hand, supporting myself with the other. Lily lies few feet ahead, doing just the same, her face obviously in pain. Oh, sorry, your face was kind of close and I acted on reflex. You okay? My head. It seems she's not actually okay. Come to think of it, I doubt the impact alone was causing her head so much pain. Hangover, you drank a fair bit last night. She suddenly nods in confirmation as I lift myself up. I offer my hand and help her back to her feet. Glancing behind her, I find that Hanako's still fast asleep. It's not fair. I only drank as much as you did. That's very different from what I remember. And anyways, girls have a lower tolerance than men. That doesn't help. Fine. I'll get you a glass of water. Just be careful not to trip over Hanako. I rub the sleep out of my eyes, or at least some of it, as I walk to the counter. Tending to someone with a hangover isn't the way I like to spend a morning. It only takes a few seconds for the glass to fill, the clear water reflecting the silver light that makes it through the thin curtains. It looks like Lee taking a seat on the side of the bed. I walk over to her while taking care of the step over the peacefully sleeping Hanako, and place the glass into her outstretched hands. Thank you. No problem. I take a seat next to her, the soft bed having a surprising amount of give. She drinks slowly and methodically. A long silence passes with only Hanako's soft breathing to be heard. With some measure of guilt, I look at Lily's face and intend to read her expression. Her brow is furrowed, and she looks to be lost in thought. For a moment, I hesitated, but eventually I placed a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I didn't expect her to flinch rather not noticeably at that, though. Ah, sorry, I didn't mean to. Lily quickly shakes her head in a manner somewhat more violent than usual for her. She takes a long breath and steadies herself before letting her head sink. I must look terrible right now. I moved to protest, but quickly realized that I would be futile to do so. That said, I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. Lily gives a self-deprecating snort as if to mock her own emotions. There's just a lot of happening right now. I'm sorry for being so strange recently, especially back when we were in town. Even now, I'm a bit confused about everything. Believe me, I know the feels. She smiled wistfully, resting a cheek on the back of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Come on, don't say that. Come, graduation, we'll be back into the real world. The real world. Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange divorced feeling of Yamako and the surrounding town compared to the outside world still hasn't become natural. Maybe it never will. It's strange. In hindsight, being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A wry grin on her face, Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at the idea. Eventually, though, her smile drops. I'll be going back to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why we had to reschedule Hanako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. You'll be able to see your family again at least. You're not looking forward to it? I haven't met my family in 6 years. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs open as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, that means she's been only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little of my parents with them both working long hours, but I feel utterly useless as a struggle to find some way to respond. But why? Why did they leave, or why are they inviting Akira and I back? Both, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland. An executive position became available for him there. In the end, he had to move permanently. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stay in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company and my education. As for the latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. It feels strange, really. We've been summoned there for her, yet we barely met her before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels towards her family for doing such a thing. I can't help feeling slightly humble. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I lift myself off the bed. Lily notices the bed's movement, her head perking up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. That's how? I walk over to my bag, still leaning against the wall, unbuckling the front flap and retrieving an opaque bag from within. I take a small plain box in my hands. Hold your hands out, Lily. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually, acquiesces? I don't know how you say that. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box into her open palms. Her typically delicate way of handling it makes it seem like if it were fragile enough to breathe on. She wordlessly brings it in front of her face, her slender fingers filling out its contours and patterning. Eventually, her fingers find the wreath line between the lid and the body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. I take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face silently and intently. She sits completely motionless and she listens to the diminutive tiny melody, her mouth just slightly open. It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down with a miniature performance playing in her hands. The smile on her face gently and wistfully shows that I made the right decision. Think of this as going away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. Restless, shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having woken Hanako. She glanced out of the blankets and put her over, looking befuddled? I can't say that. And wiping the sleep from her eyes. I see you're finally up. What? Hanako looks around the room with her eyes only half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her dazed state makes me and Lily chuckle. As Lily gets off the bed to tend to Hanako, I take one last look around the room. I guess I better get going then. There'll be questions if I'm seen leaving the girls' dormitories in the morning. Goodbye, Hasao. Oh, goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the way. As I leave the room and into the hallway, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hand slide onto my cheek, seeming very nerve-taking in the feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. Immediately after that, her face slowly moves next to mine, a light momentary touch of her lids brushing against my other cheek. For a moment, everything seems to stand still and absently bring my fingers to my cheek as to try to recapture the fleeting feeling. Lily. That's my thank you, Hasao. Thank you. For your present. Have a nice day in school. Ha! She's such a hottie. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it. The muffled voices of she and Hanako audible through the much as they were yesterday night. I think I'd be hard pressed not to have a nice day after that. I walk away with a certain spring to my step. I think there were some people around that glanced at the emerging from the girls' dormitory building, but I find it difficult to care. Oh, wow. Okay. This is awesome. Ugh. Hachan. God damn it, Misha. Go away. Hachan. Leave me alone. Go on, Hachan. Let me sleep. After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want to be is woken when I finally manage to. It might be the last period of class with a textbook as my pillow, but I take whatever sleep I can get at this point. See, Chan? Even Chichan wants you to get up. I don't care what Shisume wants. Leave me alone. Jesus, Chan. I'll just have to wait. Wait, Misha. Misha's going to you. This is bad. I'm up. Don't you have to... I can feel my face flower into Scarlet's red blush. The students still in class are sitting bolt upright and staring at the shining fool who was sleeping just a moment before. Damn it! I let my head smack back down to the table with a nuzzle of thumb. Wahahahaha. Misha's straight mind control laughter reverberates through the classroom. As I turn my mournful eyes to be bespectable, Jesus Christ, Shitsuma beside her, she carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of seriousness and disapproval. Narrowing my eyes, I can see a badly hidden grin spreading across her face. There it is. It's to Shisume? Shisume looks away quickly as she crosses her arms tightly, barely on the edge of her control. Wahahaha. Misha laughs doubles in volume as she glances at Shisume. All I can do is drag my hand down my face in resignation. You two. Who was the one who slept in class, Ashan? Yeah, it was me. Poor Shisan was having a fit trying to wake you up, weren't you? I move my eyes back to the standard Shisume, who, with a single huff of confirmation, returns to look away where her arms cross. Why was Shisume trying to wake me up? Shisan wanted to give you the handouts the substitute teacher gave out while Hachan was sleeping. Handouts? Oh, I suddenly find 2 sheets of paper thrust down in front of my face. Following the hand holding them, I see the still pouting figure looking down at me with a distinct skull. I guess I really am in the wrong here. I'm sorry about that. No dice, her irritated face still holds. I clasp my hands together and flick my head downwards in apology. Very, very sorry. Very, very sorry. She huffs and simply drops the paper on the desk. Damn. I look over my hands to see Shisume and Misha signing frantically to each other, a look of frustration on Shisume's face. What, Shisume? It looks to be less of a doubt and more of a tirade punctuated with sidelong glances at me. To say it's unsettling is an understatement. The two suddenly drop signing and look at me in unison, both having exactly the same look of disapproval. In one fluid motion, Misha's hand suddenly extends high above me and comes rocketing down. Before I can even hold to—
Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you guys really enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. It shows your support. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this, then subscribe so you never miss a video. Woo!